Coming up this week, file management. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sunday Spoilers. We have a chance today to think about what is going to happen in a couple of days. As we gather for worship, we encounter the living God. We encounter the presence of God in our lives, and what an amazing time that is. When we think about that ahead of time, when we get ready for that time, we can be able to experience that in a more full kind of way. We're continuing our series as we continue into this new year, looking at computer operating systems and how there are different systems that make that up. And we are moving this week to file management, the file management system. And of all the different systems that make up an operating system, this is the one that's probably the one that we encounter a lot, maybe more than others. And it's because it's where we keep our work. The files that we create as we use a computer, the things that we do on a computer, our personal things, are saved into files. And so the computer organizes those things so we can be able to find them and to access them and to be able to use them whenever we need them. They can be our documents, they can be spreadsheets, they can be our pictures, just things that we do. Part of what our work is, part of what we do in life, and part of why we use a computer is to have those personal things. When we think about worship is that same kind of a thing. It's a way of us presenting our personal life. It's a personal thing for us, and we're presenting that to God. Worship is this encounter that we get with God, an encounter of His presence, an encounter of His Word, an encounter of just what it means to know God. It's a chance for us to lift up to God what's important to us, to show our thanks to God, to celebrate the presence of God in our lives. Worship is an important part of who we are. And we typically think of worship as an event that we go to where there's a time and there's a place, and we go to this thing, whether we're actually in person or we're watching online and engaging online. We know that it's an event. But it's not always presented that way in Scripture. It's not always presented that way as to understand what worship is. We're going to be looking at the text from Romans 12 this week, and it's Romans 12 verses 1 and 2. Listen to what it says about worship and what worship is. Therefore, I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will. Kind of reads there like there's more to it than an event that we go to, that it just becomes part of our life. So it's the gathering of who we are. It's the gathering of what God has given to us. It's the gathering of our work and living that each and every day. We'll be looking at that a little bit more in depth on Sunday and how that might work for us and how that can work for how we think of worship, how we think of it as beyond the walls of just that time and space. It's a chance for us to think about a life that we live, a life of worship. Can't wait to gather with you on Sunday. Can't wait to share this with you. Can't wait to celebrate our God together. See you all then.